Welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast with your host, TAK. A weekly podcast with the latest sports news, the hottest of the hot takes, and the best predictions you can get. Now, Chris, Ace, take it away.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back live to the Everything Goes podcast with your host, Chris, Ace, and myself. I'm out of breath. I mean, if you could see the video recording of us on this podcast getting ready for the show, we're dancing over here. Gosh, I feel like
you want
I'm
to
having
show
a
what
heart
you were doing,
attack.
Ty?
No, I'm a little embarrassed now. Man, I need to catch my breath, man. Welcome back. Welcome back to a day where like a lot of people are getting snow for the very first time in their lives, which is mind blowing to me to think about because I've seen it my whole life. And it's just wild to know that some people have never seen or experienced it. Wait till it turns black and gray and you don't love it anymore.
Just stay away from the yellow snow for all you that never had it before.
Yeah. Welcome back. Everything Goes podcast, man. We are live here on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Woo!
Happy Thursday. Happy pre-Friday.
Pre-Friday, post-election, post-inauguration. That's all we'll say, Chris. That's unless you want your
post the meltdown.
We'll give Chris the 10 seconds right now.
No, I can't because I don't want us to get. Well, they don't cancel anymore, so I really could go on a tangent. But I'm just glad we all figured out now that there's only two genders. I mean, I don't care if you want to be a tree, if you want to be a freaking whatever.
Amen, brother. Amen.
It doesn't matter what you are. Your DNA tells you otherwise. So
that's what we'll leave it right there. This is a great day for a podcast. It's a great day for two genders. You see that we fly this America fly right.
Great day for America.
I don't agree with everything that any president has done, but you know what? Correct. Some of the stuff that was going on the last 4 years is just crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll just leave it like that.
Well, a lot going on here in the as far as the NFL. That's really what we're talking about really today. So if you're thinking we're going to talk about some hockey and some basketball, there's a good chance we don't touch that tonight. So you can just sign off right now, unless you want to see some amazing discussions about football right now. A lot of stuff happened, though. Dallas is sitting down with their offense coordinator for 5 hours at a time. There's a lot of rumors spiraling. You know, we're not even talking about Dion anymore.
Because
Aaron Glenn was
you give him more money. See, you give him what he wants.
Aaron Glenn was the big one. Everyone in an inside source said, yes, he may have left, not New York, New Jersey, the Jets, but we all know that he has a deal ready. And he good for the New York Jets. Getting Aaron Glenn. Yep. That's a good pickup. A guy that's going to bring some good culture, hopefully, to a franchise that hasn't had success. There's a lot of talent on that team, though. If they can get the right quarterback in there, that's the key thing. Look at the weapons they have.
I would bring Rodgers back for another year.
Yeah, I don't mind that either.
And then maybe you still draft the quarterback.
Oh, I heard Russell Wilson going there. I heard a bunch of stuff going. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Aaron Glenn brings a good culture, and everyone knew. I mean, drafted by the Jets a lot of people love that he was a scouts coach, you know, so he has an inside view of what that looks like to really try and find some good talent for your organization. I honestly, he was one of my top 3 for the New Orleans Saints, and I did see an inside source that said when he had his virtual interview with the New Orleans Saints, he told Mrs. Benson, I don't want the GM, Mickey Loomis. I want you to fire him, and I want to be part of the team that helps you find a new GM to have that new direction. Is that inside source correct? I don't know, but I could see it being correct because not a lot of fans like Mickey Loomis currently, and the Saints said, no, thank you. But there's plenty to digest, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Man, Kevin O'Connell gets a big extension. Ace, what was it, 5 years? We feeling good about that?
It's a multi-year, which is confusing. I think it's
3 or 5?
Yeah, it could be because it should match whatever the GM got.
How we feeling? We feeling good about Kevin O'Connell coming back? Obviously, that's a big win. Bringing him back. Yes. Coach. I mean, when was his contract supposed to expire?
So this year, same as McCarthy's. This would have been the last year. So yeah, honestly, I like
New Orleans.
I wouldn't. I like. It's always nice when you can have those two marry up. The GM and the head coach sort of have the same structure. Or else you're pretty much in a situation with, the Jaguars had to make the decision to let Balky go. I mean, obviously we'll get to the Cowboys later. You got, there's a couple teams still that have The Bears, I guess, I think a lot of teams were going all in for Ben Johnson.
That was a good pickup by the Bears. That was a really good pickup by the Bears. And he's making a good staff. That's going to be an interesting one. I like how he stays in the division.
I heard they only had a 15-minute phone call. What? Tell me there's a little collusion there. Like they must have known that was going to happen. Like, I don't know.
Well, what was wild to me is I feel like a lot of people thought he was going all day to the Raiders. Tom Brady had a good talk with him, like had a little bit of influence. Like the Raiders about to be this franchise around, and you just get the report randomly. Like I didn't see any reports like, oh, okay, we're all of a sudden we're leaning toward. Like I just get the report like Ben Johnson to the Bears. And I was like, dang, where did that come from?
Yeah, like out of the blue. Do you think the Lions?
It did happen.
Window. Do you think the Lions' windows closed now? You know they lost their offensive and defensive coordinators.
What's fun? What are you watching right now? I know you have a nice setup there now. What's playing in the background?
What are you seeing? You seen something on my glasses?
Well, what do you watch? I know you're not watching us. What do you got? You got some basketball on? You got some football?
I got I'm looking at the draft order, and I was just looking, and right now I saw that they have the Saints taking Will Johnson of Michigan.
I did see that. What's as I've gotten older, and I was thinking about this the other day, is you always ask that question when a team succeeds and then they have a terrible year the next year. Like, how the heck does that happen? Like, you have the same talent. Like, I just don't understand it. And now that I'm a little older, I'm like, holy crap. Like, you look at the Lions, amazing offensive coordinator, pretty good defensive coordinator. A lot of people would say a very good defensive coordinator and a great head coach in Dan Campbell. And now you just lose your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That's a whole new thing. You have to go find new system. Like they might suck next year. I don't think they do. I still think they have the talent to be good, but we've seen it where a defensive coordinator leaves and a good percentage of the defensive players follow him. Same thing on the offense. And I think Dan Campbell's a good enough coach to bring and attract another good offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator into that building. And I think they'll be fine, but it is interesting.
Are they going to hire that was my thought too. If they hire somebody or if they elevate somebody OC or to become the OC, maybe they like somebody, they kind of have a protege in there, or do they look outside? If they look outside, clearly they got to bring somebody in that basically runs the same sort of play action style that Johnson did, or else it's like, you're hurting Goff. Goff can only really play in that system. He can't run. So it's like,
to you guys, what's more important, a good GM or a good coach?
Oh my God. Bill Belichick.
He was both.
I think a good GM attracts a good coach. I think like you look at a lot of these instances, like a coach wants part of finding the GM. Like typically, like you look at like a teams that are happening this offseason, they try and do them together. It's like hard. Like I think if you're a coach and you come into a system, you might like the owner, you might like the personnel, and you might not get along with the GM's decision or how they want to handle. Like there's some GMs that want to cooperate with the coach, and then there's some GMs that are like, it's your job to go coach. I'm going to handle the behind the scenes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think coaches are like presidential candidates. You know, you have a good Republican in there, does real good, goes 12-5, but only wins one playoff game in 5 years. And now you're looking to bring in a Democrat that's going to ruin everything. And then eventually you got to go back to another Republican to get things back on board again.
Well, and that's also because usually they're who is he talking about that? I think head coach maybe is more in the spotlight. That's a great question. It's almost like, I hate saying you got to have both, but like to Ty's point, you need
if you have a GM, if you have a good GM and you have good players can play in any kind of system that a coach brings in there. You know
Correct.
What I mean?
Yep.
Why I'll say GM is you look at Howie from the Eagles.
The Cowboys don't have either.
The talent that he has been able to bring into the Eagles, the draft players that he's been able to draft. You think of I even think of the Bears. Like I think the Bears have a really good young GM who's starting to build. They almost work behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see. And the coach just gets to go out there and coach them. And like you just said to your point, like some of these players are such superstars that they bring in that, I mean, they could really play under anyone coaching, which isn't always the case. But I think a GM is very important. I think if you have a good, bright GM, they'll get a lot of things done. And I praise the Eagles for that because the Eagles GM makes a lot of good stuff happen.
And look, I was joking around. I was joking around, but I'm bringing this up because I see New England is bringing back Josh McDaniels again. They got Vrabel there. They're bringing back the old band again, but they're missing the conductor, Tom Brady. They had a great quarterback, and he took in the Super Bowls, and I think they're trying to reenact that again. and I don't think they're going to be able to.
Well, and so a lot of Vikings fans don't like what Kwesi has done in the drafting guys. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if the GM doesn't draft well, the coaches, it's not going to matter if you got who's the guy that switched like 3 teams, the receiver he played, Deontay Johnson. Yeah. You sign somebody like that, you're like, that's on the GM, right? That's ultimately going to be on the GM, because as much as you want to try to coach this dude up, if he's a head case, ultimately it ain't going to work out. So it's going to look bad there.
He needs to come to Dallas. He'll fit right in Dallas.
Well, Stephon Diggs is a free agent this year. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes.
Yeah, but he's coming off a major knee injury.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so is everybody, though, nowadays.
Yeah. What coach do you think fits the best at where they're at then? Which one of the new coaches?
Ben Johnson.
As far as like Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and Mike Vrabel?
Yeah. Yep.
I think Ben Johnson has the team that's ready to win now. Plus, they got $90 million in cap space.
Ooh. Yeah, and the Patriots have a lot too, though. I don't know how much that is, but that's
I really would say.
I agree.
So, Ace, what was your question? Which coach fits the best? I think Vrabel fits the best because I think he fits the Patriots culture. But I would say Ben Johnson has the most to prove, because I think that team is young and ready to win, and they cannot find the right coach to get that team going.
I think the only problem with Ben Johnson is he's going to be in one of the toughest divisions in football, the NFC North.
And that's that's what's really interesting me, is like when he did his press conference, like he made it a fact he wanted to be in that division, like one of the toughest divisions in the NFL right now. And like, that's very intriguing as a coach. Like I gotta feel he's going to turn that team around.
They're going to be good. They're going to be real good.
Mm-hmm.
If they can figure out how to split interdivision.
Yes.
You can't go 1-5 or whatever they want. I think they want 1-5 in your division. You got to split. You got to split those games. If they can do that and they can win the games they should win, I think they're a playoff team next year.
So who's next in Dallas?
I think they're solid.
Who's next in Dallas now? Like we just saw Aaron Glenn's gone, but never really interviewed with Dallas.
We're never going to get him.
You have Ben Johnson, obviously another long shot, but it's like we're narrowing down to the Jags, the Saints, Dallas.
You're down in the freaking.
There's still a lot, but there's no. That's not true at all. There's still a lot of coaches left. Kingsbury hasn't even interviewed yet. Soleil is still out there. Joe Brady's still out there. The offense coordinator of the Bills. Like, there's still a lot of talent out there.
From what I heard today, Schottenheimer is going to be the man. Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones Jr., they want Schottenheimer to be the coach. Dak Prescott wants him to be the coach. Jerry Jones wants Pete Carroll. And this is the first time I agree with Jerry Jones. I want Pete Carroll. I want Pete Carroll to lead that team. I don't think Schottenheimer's been in this league 10 years. He's got nothing to show for it. He's not like his dad.
Has he been calling plays for Dallas?
I think he is the offensive coordinator on paper, but I think it was mostly McCarthy.
Pete is 73, bro. 73. Think about that. That man is
some 73. Of our presidents are in their 70s.
He looks younger though, but Chris, I look at it like this. I going into this year, wasn't the sentiment or kind of the feeling that McCarthy wasn't coming back anyways? You guys had 9 months to try to go out and figure out who you wanted.
Oh yeah, you blame
a lot
Jerry
of internal. Yes, it's so dysfunctional.
It was never the plan that he wasn't coming back. The plan was they wanted to bring him back. I don't think they could agree on the years. And the problem is too is the Joneses don't want to pay these coaches top money. They're in the $4 to $5 million range, where most of these coaches nowadays are getting $8-10 million. The Joneses refuse to pay their coaches that much money, so they'll get a Kellen Moore. They'll get this Schottenheimer guy who they're going to pay him $4 million, and they're going to shut up and be yes men, and that's what they're going to do.
Now, wild curveball at you. What are the chances that the Saints don't take Mike McCarthy, right? Because there's a lot of insiders that think the Saints are going to interview him, but they like a Joe Brady. They like a opportunity to interview a Cliff Kingsbury. What's the wild card chance at Dallas? Like, you know what? We're just going to bring Mike back.
I'll tell you right now, that bridge is burnt. You know, usually when a coach leaves, the organization sends out a thank you for your service, basically. There was none of that. There was no kind of letters of, from Mike McCarthy saying thanks for all the years I've had in Dallas. Yeah. And let's face it, at the end of the day, Mike McCarthy was a good regular season coach. They won 36 games in 3 years, but in a 5-year period of him being there, they've only won one playoff game. End of story.
Well, So Pete Carroll is still your top option right now as a Dallas fan. You want Pete?
I would take Pete. I don't like Schottenheimer. Look, when you fire your coach, you want to improve. And I don't think Schottenheimer improves
now,
our team.
What are your thoughts about Robert Saleh? I mean, they interviewed him, and great defense coordinator.
That's why I'll take Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll ran the Legion of Boom in Seattle.
Who did they interview? Come to think of it, who have they interviewed?
Saleh, Kellen Moore.
Okay. And then Schottenheimer, obviously.
And then Schottenheimer, yeah. Look, it's going to come down to who's cheap. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, we're coming down to probably the end of this week and the beginning. So next on Monday and Tuesday, teams can technically interview teams going to the Super Bowl. There's that weird because it's a bye. Technically, you can see the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting really close to Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like you're going to see, even if a team is still in the Super Bowl, you're going to see like the New Orleans Saints have reached an agreement with so-and-so, but not until after the Super Bowl. But like, this is going to be the week, I think. I think Dallas is going to hire their guy in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
the New Orleans Saints are going to hire their guy in the next couple of days. I saw this amazing take where this Wednesday, they said if the Saints don't sign Aaron Glenn by Wednesday, they're going after either offensive coordinator Joe Brady from the Bills, or they're going to try and get a Cliff Kingsbury. Dude, and then out of nowhere today, I get this notification of a speculation trade that could possibly be working behind the scenes of Derek Carr going to the New York Giants.
Wow.
Really?
And then I listened to Ross talk about it, and Ross said it in a brilliant way. He's like, listen, I'm not going to say there's truth about this, but it's got little tiny legs, right? Like, it's definitely like something where, like, they have the third pick, but Cam Ward and Shador might go 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Cam Ward's 1-1.
So do you take a generational talent and you take Travis Hunter and just get a bridge quarterback? Because like the ideal situation with the Saints right now, and then Ross explains it perfectly, is like the New Orleans Saints don't mind having Derek Carr, but it's like you could give him that option. Like, listen, we are a rebuilding team where you're probably not going to want to be a part of this. Like, you have the opportunity where we can go trade you, hopefully, and you can go try and get yours, because you're not going to get it in New Orleans probably for the next 2 years.
Ty, so odds right now at McCarthy at plus 400, Joe Brady plus 450, Mike Kafka plus 500, Kellen Moore plus 25. You got to go down 2 more for Cliff Kingsbury at plus 1200, but that kind of makes sense. I don't know how you feel about Joe Brady, but
Joe Brady's my top right now. I really had no opinion on Joe Brady until I have been listening detailedly to Ross Jackson kind of talk about him, and he talks about it where he was with LSU, did 2 years with the New Orleans Saints, and then goes to the Buffalo Bills. But he was the offense coordinator first. Offense coordinator gets fired, and then the past 2 seasons, Joe Brady has taken over, and James Cook has thrived. Josh Allen has thrived these past 2 years. It's amazing. Of course, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's got Josh Allen," but like he's running an amazing system, and they believe that if he would come to New Orleans, it would be a sense of change. It wouldn't be like the same culture. And that's what I'm really hoping for. It's nothing against Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy has a great resume, and I truly do believe that if the Saints would hire Mike McCarthy, it wouldn't be like an excitement for the fans. Like it'd be like he would start winning, and you would earn his trust. But I think if you bring McCarthy in, that's you're going to keep all these vets. You're going to continue to try and win, and I really am just looking for a young coach who's going to keep a couple of the core guys. We're going to cut some of these guys, cut some cap casualties, and really just start to build a new culture in New Orleans.
I think if New Orleans doesn't hire McCarthy, I don't think McCarthy coaches next year.
I don't either. I think it takes another year. Yep. So it goes the next round next year. Because it's only down to the Saints, Dallas, and Jags. Who else needs a head coach?
I think what you're going to honestly start seeing is you're going to start seeing the money that these college coaches are making. It almost doubles some of these NFL coaches. You're going to see more Belichick moves. These coaches going to college where they're going to get paid. Like Deion tinkered with the Cowboys. CU came out and threw more money at him. So
I love that.
NFL GMs their owners are not paying their coaches what they deserve.
It wouldn't shock me if there were guys already out there reaching to Mike McCarthy from the college world.
Yeah.
So Kellen,
my top 2 picks, Ace. I don't have 3 anymore. If I had to put 3, I'm a sucker for Joe Brady and Darren Rizzi. There's some New Orleans Saints radio hosts that still believe if you hire Darren Rizzi, you're just bringing the same culture. But I personally do not believe that. I like Darren Rizzi. I like Joe Brady. And if I had to put a third on there, because I think Cliff Kingsbury is still a very high left field kind of reach, I guess it would be Mike McCarthy, because I think he brings a winning culture. But yeah, I like those two first options though.
The problem with the Cowboys when it comes to coaches, everybody else shops at Costco's for the top of the line coaches. We shop at Aldi's. We get those secondary crap discount coaches. Yeah, and that's the story of the Cowboys. Like, I just put up that thing on TikTok the other day where the Cowboys now have the longest deficit, where they haven't been into a championship game since 1996. I think got almost 20,000 views. The Cowboys are the worst team now when it comes to making it to the championship round. Never. That's why I'm wearing this. I'm not used to wearing this late in the season because we're done by now. I usually transitioned into hockey or basketball or baseball, but I just felt like wearing this today because like I haven't felt this in a long time in January.
Yeah. Oh, your Denver Nuggets are on a roll.
They're not my Nuggets. I'm the Sixers fan, man.
God!
How could you garbage dump, man? We're just back the garbage truck up. We're just gonna throw them all in there and be done with this stuff.
All right, so let's transition into NFL's come out with the rankings they have as far as like who made it this year on the awards. We're gonna break down who we believe are our winners, and we'll start with these are the finalists for Offensive Player of the Year. You obviously have Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. This is essentially the award for I'll put it back up, but that's essentially the award for we're going to give the MVP probably to a quarterback, so you're probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year.
It's always the quarterback. I think the last time someone other than the quarterback got it was like 2013 or something like that, or 2015.
Like looking at this list, I say Saquon wins it only because I don't think he's going to get MVP.
Yeah. It's like, how can you?
And I think Saquon deserves that. I think Saquon deserves MVP this year. I think he has had a amazing season. It's sad that only a quarterback wins MVP. I kind of think it's BS.
Look, if you want to judge quarterbacks, take their rushing stats out of it. Because you know what? If you want to judge a quarterback, base it off what quarterbacks normally do, not Lamar Jackson.
So throw the ball.
Burrow. And Lamar Jackson still has amazing stats without the rushing yards.
Joe Burrow.
Lamar. Lamar's got amazing stats. I think you got to go Barkley here because where would the Eagles be without running game? I mean, they got a great offensive line. Yeah. Sure, Hurts has all the time in the world, but honestly, I wonder if they go. No, yeah, I was thinking Burrow there, but yeah.
Like, look at this. This is the MVP list, right? In my opinion, you can't they won't give it to Joe Burrow because they didn't make playoffs. But in my opinion, Josh Allen had an amazing year. But in my opinion, Barkley wins MVP and Offensive Player of the Year because the Eagles are not the Eagles without him this year.
Josh Allen had a good season, but Bo Nix had better stats than him in some categories.
Saquon Barkley had 10 games of 120 yards rushing.
Jesus. Oh, that's amazing.
In my opinion, he wins MVP. And if he wins MVP, then I give Offensive Player of the Award either to Saquon Barkley again or Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was the Triple Crown winner this year.
Yeah, offensive.
So I think you mix it up this year. MVP goes to Saquon, and then you give Offensive Player of the Year to the Triple Crown receiver.
I agree. I agree.
Like you're talking about guys it's hard for these guys to do the things they're doing, and every single year the NFL's like, yeah, we see that, but we're gonna give it to another quarterback. And again, I think Joe Burrow and Josh Allen have had amazing years.
They should just make it.
But how often do quarterbacks have good years? Every single year. How often do running backs have a season like Saquon Barkley had? Not often.
Mm-hmm. The problem is you're never going to get a true MVP because they always wait too long to give the award out, and it's not based off of. I mean, you look at Joe Burrow. Their season started out so bad, and he led them back into the playoff hunt. To me, that's an MVP. It shouldn't be who makes the playoffs, who makes it to the Super Bowl. It should be, what has that guy done for that team? And Cincinnati was trash early on in the season.
Take that guy off the team and see where that team would be at, and that's how you decide who an MVP is. So my pick, you guys can give your picks. My pick for Offensive Player of the Year should be Jamar Chase. MVP should be Saquon Barkley.
I agree. I can't fight you on that.
I'm still gonna go. Honestly, I like Lamar Jackson. Because I like that point. Lamar Jackson MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon.
Yeah,
there's a handful of deserving for MVP this year because I agree with your point too, Chris. Burrow certainly deserves to be up there because that team is absolute shit without him.
Now
it doesn't say most valuable winner. It's just most valuable player, and he was obviously the most valuable player this year.
This one's even more interesting, right? You have your offensive rookie of the year.
Oh, come on, we know.
No, but like what's tough about this is everyone say Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix broke records this year as a tight end.
Or Bowers. Yeah, Bowers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Bowers broke almost all the tight end records this year as a player on the Raiders too, who has Aiden O'Connell.
All that tells me is he's just a check down. The quarterback.
But he wasn't. No. He wasn't just a check down though.
I bet you the running back was second in receiving yards.
Listen, watch the tape. Brock Bowers has amazing years. I obviously do think that. By the way, Brian Thomas, absolute stud.
Yes.
Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels all played together last year. That's LSU.
Dan Quinn, Coach of the Year, and
we're not there yet.
You got to pick Daniels as the rookie MVP, whatever it is.
Daniels is going to get offensive rookie of the year. My opinion,
absolutely.
I think you could give it to Bowers.
What did the Commanders win last year? 4 games?
Dude, how insane is that?
They did
4 wins,
3 or 4
you're in the conference championship.
Yep.
Hey, how about I sat here last week and I said I have a feeling the Commanders are going to beat the Lions, but I'm going to go with the Lions because everyone's picking the Lions.
Who picked the Commanders?
You did. So I'm going to take
honestly, they're so excited in Washington. I won't be surprised they call them the Redskins next year.
Maybe Trump will let it happen.
Hey, there's a lot of people out there, even the Native Americans are saying we never wanted to change that name. It's probably those Democrats.
Well, and the Chiefs. I mean, like, how come the Chiefs haven't changed their name too? If you really want to get picky, whatever. We don't need to go down this.
What do you guys think?
It needs to be the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Guardians has got to go. It's got to be the Cleveland Indians.
Yes.
It's just not baseball being the Cleveland Guardians. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, Ty, I agree. It's got to be Jaden Daniels. I love what Brian Thomas did. I love what Brock did. I love what all 5 of those guys did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, clearing away Daniels.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. All right.
You know who's going to be even better next year? That tight end from Penn State.
Yeah.
Call it now. He's going to light it up.
There's some drafts that have him going to New Orleans.
They have some drafts where they have
Swiss Army.
They have him on the freaking on the board when he gets down to the lower levels with us.
Jeez. Hey, next we got 2 more. We got 2 more. Let's keep rolling here. Defensive player of the year. My opinion, take it or leave it. I got Zach Bond, and here's why I have Zach Bond. Zach Bond was misused in New Orleans. All they ever wanted to use him was for special teams and filming when people were injured. And he goes from barely playing a snap to being one of the best defensive players this year in the NFL.
I like Trey Hendrickson, whatever his name is.
You take Zach Bond out of the Eagles, and the Eagles defense is not the same this year.
You know, I lean toward what Chris said because I think Hendrickson over the last 3 years has the most time. He's up there in sacks. You just convinced me though, Ty. I honestly could not. I forgot that he was on the Saints. I got to go Zach Bond then.
You know what makes me even more mad, Ace? Trey Henderson and Zach Bond, both New Orleans Saints players.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
they couldn't sign Henderson, and then they Bond wanted out. He's like,
you know what makes me mad?
Me and didn't even use me.
You know what makes me mad? There's 4 Cowboys coaches from last year that are in the NFC Championship.
What are you looking at right now?
NFC Championship game.
I feel like I'm on The Office and like Jim's looking at the white on the hairline, and you're not looking at us in the eyes.
I'm looking up here. My screen is up here. But like 4 coaches from the Cowboys last year, NFC Championship game. I think there's like 8 players, NFC champion. From the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a freaking team where we just take it and showcase people and then push them off and let them go have a good career somewhere else. Should I look here now, Ty? Is that better?
Yeah, here we go. Last one. Coach of the year.
Man, you know where I'm leaning, but
Dan Quinn.
God, this is a tough list because you could say so. I'm not gonna say Dan Campbell because everyone knew they were gonna be good, but he deserves it, right?
Yep.
You could say Kevin O'Connell because your first round rookie quarterback goes out preseason and everyone thinks you're going to suck. And you take Sam Darnold, who has been so inconsistent all year, and you go 14-win season. But I definitely agree with you. I think Dan Quinn wins it because Dan Quinn took a 4-13, whatever it is, team and turned them to the conference championship.
But you could always give it to Sean Payton too. Sean Payton is another good coach.
Sure. When do they vote on this?
I don't know when they built this. Ace, don't
because Quinn, that, man. If they have to go like regular season, everyone's going to be overshadowed by what Quinn's doing now. And just, I got to go KOC, but I also, it's like, I mean, between him or Quinn, Quinn's going to win it. Me being a homer, I'll pick KOC for.
You can't pick Andy Reid because obviously Andy Reid is just he's solidifying his Hall of Fame career. 7 straight AFC Championship games. The guy's just phenomenal. My question is, if they win this year, does he retire? Or does he go for the 4-peat?
I mean, dude. Ooh. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback in NFL history, along with Joe Montana and Tom Brady, to go to Super Bowl 5 times. He's only 29 years old.
Jesus, wow.
Or at least 5 times.
Is it true? Incredible. I heard something that is the only person that has ever beaten Mahomes in a playoff is Tom Brady.
Dude, they showed Josh Allen's stats against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, and it is like he dominates Pat Mahomes in the season. He can't beat him in the playoffs. I love seeing the TikToks, though, where they're like, Josh Allen, the whole nation is behind you as you try and defeat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. The Chiefs have so much bulletin board material.
Dude, I mean, Taylor Swift, amazing. Every time they show, dude, I said to my wife the other day, I was just driving. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, just randomly dawned on me. I was like, Taylor Swift is this generational of Carrie Underwood and Tony Romo.
I saw something too that was interesting too. I saw the Democratic Party has Taylor Swift. The Republicans have Carrie Underwood.
No, but like, you know how like when Carrie Underwood would go to the Dallas games, they always showed her, but she was always bad luck.
Yeah, that's because Tony Romo, he had bad taste. Jessica Simpson. He went from that.
All right. Let's do our picks.
Then he went to the Bahamas.
Do our picks here and send it off. Just no Saturday games this year. No Saturday games.
All right.
2 Sunday games. Got the Washington Commanders going into Philadelphia, 3 p.m. Maybe snow. That was cool how it snowed last week. Like literally first half, nothing. Second half, white field.
I think this is the game where Washington forces the Eagles to throw the ball.
Hey, also, by the way, I think last week's game, you could look at that game and be like, yeah, Saquon's MVP. Like, do you think the Eagles win that game without Saquon?
Look, I'm glad for Saquon. I really am, just because you went to school with him and no one went to school with him. Other than that, I hate Philadelphia.
Isn't it wild that you went to school with The Rock? I went to school with Saquon. My wife went to school with Jahan Dotson, who is now on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm like, who's our son going to school with?
Whoa. Hold up, Chris. You went to school with Dwayne The Rock?
Yeah,
like around the same. Holy,
he was a junior or senior my freshman year.
That is dope. I didn't know that.
All right, Commanders, Eagles. I'm sorry, I'm not doubting them ever again. Jaden Daniels, I saw him make like a 50-yard throw in the bucket while the defender was on the wide receiver Brown, and I was like, how? He is a stud. Kingsbury has thrived on that offensive system. Dan Quinn's defense has been great. They only have like 2 players on that defense that came back from last year. That's an amazing thing to think about, how he just flipped that whole defense. The Commanders are winning this game in Philadelphia.
Do you want to go, Chris? You agree?
The one thing I want to say about these freaking picks is I was 100%. I was 100% until the Lions blew it. And I was sitting here at 99.8%. But my Super Bowl champion lost. So I'm going Commanders.
Damn it. Fine.
Ace,
I'm going Eagles.
You can go with us, Ace.
You're right.
Commanders. There's no need to go to the dark side.
You're right. I
think they're riding high,
the
man.
Eagles. They're hot.
Yeah,
they're hot.
I think
they're hungry.
If they're gonna, here's the thing though. The snow. If it does snow, that'll definitely impact both sides of the game. But the Commanders have shown too that they can run the ball. Like Brian Robinson, Eckler's looked good.
Been really good.
Look.
Let's go Commanders, baby.
Woo!
Look, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say one thing. If the Eagles open up their offense like they've done all season long before they started this whole run game thing, I think the Eagles have more weapons. You know, with AJ Brown, with Smith, with their freaking tight end.
Goddard dealing with an injury.
I
think
healthy, he's
dealing with something.
I'm just saying. I just think if the Eagles, if they blow it open, the Eagles' problem the last 2 games is they start slow. They let teams stick around.
Yep.
If they blow this open, I think it's the Eagles. But I want to go with the Commanders. Either way, NFC East is going to be a Super Bowl. I'm so happy for that. Huh?
Bobby Wagner just got to stop Saquon. Here's the big game that everyone. It is literally one country versus one team. You have the Buffalo Bills. And of course, they're going into Kansas City, and they're going to show Taylor Swift. They're going to show everybody that we don't like to see. Man, I'm taking the Bills, dude. My New Orleans Saints haven't been to the playoffs in 4 years. I need the Bills to win this game for me. I need them to.
The Bills got lucky last week. If Andrews catches that ball and doesn't fumble, I think
in his stomach, bro. I think stomach.
But not even that. Not even the 2-point conversion. That drive before where he fumbles, they were driving down the field. They were going to put that game away. I think that was going to be the nail in the coffin, and that fumble killed them.
I got Bills. Dad's got.
I'm going Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I know. Deep in my heart, I think the Bills are the team that can do this. I just think Patrick Mahomes, man, what's he like 17-3 in the playoffs?
Something like that. Well, I think you're right. His only loss is to Brady, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
I got to go Patrick Mahomes, man. I the thing is about Patrick Mahomes is you can see the offensive line's not holding enough to give him time to go through his reads, so he's making magic again. Can he do it one more time against the Bills?
If the refs are going to call a fair game,
that's the thing.
Who's 70? Whoever the hell 74 is on the Chiefs, the left tackle. Now maybe slow-mo shows that he doesn't jump early. It just seems like he gets a head start every snap.
Bro, some of those videos where like Troy Aikman's like, bro, what are we doing here? Like, dude, it's like I'm not a guy that blames the refs ever, but like it is funny watching some of those videos and you're like, dude, there's a ref right there. Like, what are we doing?
And I'm sorry too, if Patrick Mahomes flops, it should be 15 yards the other way.
Did you see that one on the sideline, which Troy Aikman's like, man, he's really flopping out there.
Yeah, and you're seeing defensive people flop for holding calls all the time now. Yeah. If they flop and they called it legit flop, they need to call it a 15-yard penalty.
I got the Bills.
It's like basketball.
Dad's got the Chiefs. Ace, where are you going? Come on.
I got the Bills too, and I think it's good juju. So good juju for Josh Allen. He got engaged this year, or technically last year. So probably the wedding this year.
I hope she's there, and they show.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes just had another baby. He's going to win this one for baby number 3.
I know. We could use any reason, but I feel like this should be their year. Both QBs are pretty much unstoppable. I think the Bills have just been like more consistent. They got the running game going with Cook. Not only Cook, they got Davis, and who's the guy they use in third down? Johnson. They got a good running back squad, and they mix them in. I like that mix, and if they stick to that and don't deviate like freaking Lamar, how many? Like Henry should have gotten 20 to 25 touches in that Ravens game. I think it's different.
What was he averaging? Like 9 yards a game? He was averaging 9 yards a carry or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So Bills Mafia, bring one home, baby. I mean, you still got one more, but yeah.
You watch. This is gonna be like a 10-7 game.
Gosh, man.
Please no.
Let's take it on. We hope you guys enjoy this, man. Live once a week.
Make sure you put up a picture of my brother's race car that has our sponsor on it. He's going into the motorsports show this weekend. He got a new body on it.
Look at that sexy logo right there. Look at that right there, baby.
That's the money panel right there, and he put us on there for free. That's the money panel, man. That's where the fans get to see. And that's the side that usually doesn't get beat up and everything. But yeah, that car is freaking sweet, man.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
So, okay, around the track, what speeds are they at?
Oh, I don't know. Certain tracks they go faster than others, man. But I know if we go back to Pennsylvania, I'm going to be hopping in that thing again.
We're going to pump it up, man. We're going to get on out of here. But, man, once a week, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Y'all have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Let's get it.